And a good midday Wednesday to you. Roger Hill of Wuthering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards forecaster. This weather video is driven by 802cars.com. They represent 802 Toyota, Twin Cities Subaru, and 802 Honda. They're all located off of Exit 7 on Interstate 89. We have a big deal here is the trough of lower pressure, especially a pretty sharp trough, shortwave, that's spinning up an area of low pressure. And taking a look, it's this area of low pressure that's going to be taking a track and taking a ride through western parts of New York and into Quebec through the St. Lawrence River Valley. That's going to produce gradient wind gusts along with a big surge of moisture, this rain, open Gulf of Mexico all the way up the Appalachians and into northern New England and adjacent southeastern Canada. For this VELCO Weather Hazards Outlook, expecting some utility impacts with this next storm system that'll be arriving overnight Thursday night into Friday with gradient wind gusts. Wind fields aloft are fairly strong, but in conjunction, that'll be falling light to moderate rainfall and accompanying mild temperatures. That also has some issues in terms of snowmelt and a risk for some flooding. Preceding the storm, there will be 2 excellent days of dry weather the rest of today, Wednesday, and into the day on Thursday. Another flare-up of gusty winds develops late Saturday, and this will take place with northwesterly winds following departing area of low pressure. It'll be colder and more seasonable and much quieter. Those quiet weather conditions will follow into the Christmas holiday and during much of next week. There was one little Alberta clipper system that could provide us with a dusting to a couple of inches of snowfall during Christmas Eve day on next Monday. Currently looking at North American snow cover or snow depth, and you can see it's a little bit sparse. It was a whole lot better, of course, going back into late November when we really started accruing some early season snowfall. However, conditions now are starting to fall apart just a little bit in terms of snow on the ground. And you notice here the Hudson River Valley and then up into the Champlain Valley, a good portion of western Vermont seeing no snow, closest to Lake Champlain in northern areas and so forth. It looks like the areas to watch, though, with this incoming rainstorm. We can see some fairly impressive snowfall totals here along the spine of the Green Mountains and points east. And it's generally these areas of eastern Vermont and some of our rivers that could see some headwaters start to fill up pretty good. And with that could be some minor flooding, but remains to be seen. We're looking at generally about an inch of rainfall, a little bit, maybe 1.25 inches down across parts of southern Vermont, around 3/4 of an inch over across parts northern Vermont. This is looking at the European model with precipitation type, and you can see that it's pretty much all rain until it gets into the Connecticut River Valley, a couple icy spots. In fact, right here, this really reaches us here a little bit after midnight or so, and you can see just some very minor areas here. That's not going to be the main issue, but cold ground surfaces with falling raindrops, sub-freezing temperatures, ground temperatures will always be icy. So some areas will start out probably fairly icy, but should improve as temperatures make a pretty good warm-up through the night, overnight, Thursday night, into the day on Friday. This is valid around 7 o'clock in the evening on Friday, and as we get into basically Friday night, we get dry slotted, and that's followed by a little bit of mixed rain and snow shower activity. We're not looking at very much in the way of makeup snow on this particular situation here. However, we get a good day on Sunday, a nice dry project weather day, and then following that, this little Alberta clipper system, it's headed a little bit more for, say, central and southern New England, will work on in, and that could provide us with maybe perhaps as much as maybe a dusting to a couple of inches, and that's about our best hope just ahead of the Christmas holiday. And looking at max wind gusts here, we'll just carry this through. So this is valid Thursday morning, and you can see that darker red starts to work its way up. And right along the spine of the Green Mountains, really Bennington County seems to be the area affected. It's a relatively narrow swath, and this would be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then things diminish and move off to the east. And then we have a little bit of a downsloping wind on Saturday evening, and you'll see this show up here right there, and that'll be mainly affecting Windsor as well as Windham County. And right now this looks relatively marginal, but something that we'll have to keep a close eye on. This is valid about 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. It's pretty much out of here. It's diminishing, and really there's no issues thereafter. Looking at the GFS ensembles here, we can see there's mainly one precipitation maker, and you can see where that is happening, and that is our rainstorm that's going to be developing overnight on Thursday and through the day on Friday. And we're good probably total here, at least at Montpelier, according to the GFS ensemble, closer to about 1.2 inches, 1.25, maybe 1.3. Looking at that with a 3-hourly QPF, you can see that there's the main issue right there. And a little secondary system, this is our little potential snowfall just ahead of the Christmas holiday. Looking at 850 millibars or hectopascals, you can see that temperatures are way up there, going well above the 0-degree isotherm line. This is temperature measured at about the top of Mount Mansfield, and you can see that it's a pretty toasty situation. That's 10 Celsius. That's up there close to 50 degrees. Now, most importantly for impacts for utilities, this is the low-level jet, and here again at 850 hectopascals, you can see the wind gusts up here, or the wind sustains around 70 miles an hour, 60 to 70. And here again, this is going to be affecting us in conjunction with that rainfall that moves up on Friday. Here you can see that its majority is really rainfall, just a slight suggestion, a little bit of freezing rain on the front end, but that doesn't really show up. And it's mostly rain. Total QPF, 7 days from the Weather Prediction Center. You can see that some pretty healthy amounts, mostly on the East Coast, and interesting, mainly on the West Coast as well. A little bit more terrain-driven, more localized. However, not a whole lot in between. These are the two storm tracks right now. Next 5 days, high temperature model output statistics compared to average show us somewhere between 9 and 12 degrees above normal. About 3 days later, near neutral, but still about 3 degrees above normal. And last but not least, we can see our big warm-up here that's going to be moving our way right now with the cooler air. You can see that light bluish color there. And no major chill downs here until we get some of this air that's up by Alaska. That's going to be a while. We're probably talking Sunday before it reaches us. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.